Hello, everybody. Welcome to the lunch table. My name's Evan. Today I'm joined with Zach and Nick, and today we're going to be reacting to top 10 lists for each NFL position. We're going to be doing quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, DBs, and some other ones as well. We're also going to be doing a Marvel fantasy football draft, so stay tuned for that because that'll be good. But before we do, make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at lunchtable.takes and to subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers, so right now we're at 76, so we're real close, so help us to get there.
We're getting there.
So, but yeah, we'll get right into it, starting with the top 10 best quarterbacks. So for reference, this is ranked by executives, players, coaches, and scouts. So this is a combination of a lot of different opinions. Yeah. And so
real quick before we do that, first of all, I haven't seen these.
Me either.
Yeah, both of these.
Yeah, this is the first time that we've looked at these.
So this
is a surprise to all of us.
blind reaction.
Also, what are you doing with the mic?
So the entire mic was loose. The bottom was loose. This was loose. So it had to be fixed.
Did you fix it?
Yeah, it's fixed.
Okay, good.
But it had to be done, or else I was just gonna. It
was-
wasn't gonna work.
He was doing his intro, and you were just like fiddling with the microphone, and I was like, "What is this guy
Weaver's
doing?"
always doing something during the
That's
intro.
true.
It just wasn't gonna
Whether
work.
it's eating the mic or
Messing with it just
Or-
now.
giving Nick weird looks and
Yeah.
laughing. There's always something
There's
up
something
in the
he
intros.
does. You can't just sit still.
So make sure you peep the intro, because there's always something
I
hidden
hope
there.
so. It's the beginning of the video. If they're watching anything, they watch the intro.
That's
and then
true, I
the
they
guess.
rest
skip the
stuff.
intro.
Yeah. Screw the intro. I want the actual.
I want the actual content. Let's go.
I do that for a couple podcasts.
Oh, I do it
Well, because
for
their intro's like 5
So you do
minutes
skip
long.
the intro then?
If it's
Well,
longer than
well,
like 2 minutes,
Well, there's one podcast.
What intro's
where,
longer than 2 minutes?
Well,
this
no.
one right now.
But there's one podcast where when they do their intro, they list off every member of their Patreon, which is like 300 people.
Why?
I don't know. And
That's
so
a waste
it
of
takes
time.
like 3 minutes, so I just skip through all that because I don't care.
That is such a waste
So,
of time.
But I watched the majority of the intro.
Yeah.
And you all better watch the majority of this one because this
Yeah.
is a good intro.
And everyone.
If you
because
haven't clicked off already, then
every intro there is like a behind the scenes hidden like Easter egg type of deal that I'm doing.
yeah.
As you alluded to. I'm either eating the mic or I'm fiddling with it or I'm laughing at you or everything, you know.
Yeah. Or we're just talking about random
Yeah,
stuff
well, yeah.
like the last couple ones.
Yeah.
Probably this one too. So. All right, back to business. Top 10 best quarterbacks in the NFL ranked by executives, players, coaches, and scouts. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Number 2, Joe Burrow. Number 3, Josh Allen. Number 4, Aaron Rodgers. Number 5, Justin Herbert. Number 6, Jalen Hurts. Number 7, Lamar Jackson. Number 8, Trevor Lawrence. Number 9, Dak Prescott. Number 10, Matthew Stafford. What are y'all's thoughts on the top 10? I feel like the
first 8 are okay.
pretty straightforward.
The
I don't hate. Yeah, I think that's probably what I would put.
the first thought that came to my mind though was Aaron Rodgers at 4. I'm not too sure about that one. I think Aaron, like, overall I would say so, but like just going off of last season, I think that specifically Jalen Hurts I think outperformed him last year. So
For sure.
I mean, I think Aaron Rodgers is. I mean, he's definitely the better quarterback, I guess, like overall. But like, just like off of last season, I think he was outperformed by Jalen Hurts.
I don't think they're basing it off last season though. They're basing it just off what their opinions are.
But then why
across
do they do?
quarterbacks.
But like, well, yeah, I guess so then.
I don't know exactly what their
Yeah, they
criteria
didn't
was.
specify
If
it
it's,
was last season.
I mean, if it's just being based on like overall, like who is the best quarterback in the league of the current day, then I don't hate that list. Except for, I think Matthew Stafford shouldn't be 10.
Dak Prescott was at 9.
And they had some honorable mentions as well. Their honorable mentions were Deshaun,
That's
Kirk,
terrible.
Goff, Carr, and Tua. Those are their honorable.
Yeah, Tua should be in the top 10 without.
I don't know about top 10 considering the rest of the list, but
I would put him over Stafford and Dak.
Yeah, I'd put him over both of those.
Dak Prescott needs to be way out of the top 10. I'm not sure why he's in there at all.
Would you put Kirk at 10?
I'd put Kirk at 10.
No, I don't. My opinion on Kirk Cousins isn't super high. So
I don't
would
like.
not.
I don't think Derek Carr's good. I don't think Dak Prescott's good. Who are the other honorable mentions?
Deshaun,
Nope, he's terrible.
Kirk,
I think he's okay.
Goff,
He's solid.
You can make an argument for Goff over Dak Prescott.
Carr, and then Tua. Those are their
So three of those guys I think are bad.
I would put Goff and Tua as the two honorable mentions instead of Dak and Matthew Stafford, or in the top 10. Based off that.
I would probably do.
I'd do Tua at 9 and then Goff at
Did they mention Kyler Murray? Why is he not even mentioned? What are they doing?
I think.
Maybe they think Kyler was. I mean, he wasn't great last year, but
He's
maybe
objectively better than
he's better than Matthew Stafford.
all
and
of the
Dak
people
Prescott.
mentioned in the honorable mentions.
I think that for me, I'd put Tua at 9, but then I think I would probably put Kirk Cousins at 10 instead of Jared Goff.
I think I would too. I
But-
have Jared Goff at 11.
So overall, we would have Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Rodgers, Herbert, Hurts, Jackson, Lawrence, which I almost think he's too low, but I guess I see what they're saying because he hasn't done much yet. And then I would have Tua, Kirk, and then I would probably do Stafford and Carr and like Murray as like honorable mentions. Derek Carr and Dak Prescott would not even be in my honorable mentions personally.
I mean, we discussed this on the last
Yeah.
or the NFL
Yeah.
quarterback tier list, which if you haven't watched it,
Check it
go
out.
watch it.
Yeah,
It's
if you wanna-
pretty funny.
If you want to listen to the quarterbacks, you listen to that podcast.
So I'm not
We
going to
debated about this for an hour and a half.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm not going to go into my like actual rankings.
Yeah.
But I would probably put Kyler Murray and Tua in the top 10 instead of Matthew Stafford and Dak Prescott.
I guess you could
And then have like Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins. I don't know where Geno Smith is at if we're basing it off of.
but we're not basing it off of last year.
Yeah.
I guess we're
I
just
don't know
basing
what
it
the
on
criteria
Jared.
Yeah, I don't know what the criteria is, but I'd throw Geno in there too.
I think Kyler Murray could be my 10 over Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins would be 11, but I just am not sure because of the way Kyler Murray finished the season 2 years ago and then how his year was this year.
Yeah. That's probably
I don't
why
know.
they ranked him lower. I saw one dude's list that they had Trevor Lawrence at like 14 or something.
That's
just wrong.
awful.
Like he had him like super low.
I could almost be convinced. We've talked about this. I could almost be convinced to put him in the top 5.
No, he's only had half a good season.
I think
I
think with this
I'm a
list, I think-
huge fan of Trevor
I think
Lawrence.
8's fine.
Yeah,
I wouldn't put him over.
He
Lamar.
hasn't done more than all the quarterbacks listed above him. So
Yeah.
like,
I think 8's fine.
yeah,
I mean,
he
so-
could get in there in another year or two. He
Yeah.
should get in there in another year or two. To be honest,
I'm a
but-
really big fan of Trevor Lawrence. I think he's really good. I think he's better than some of those guys, but I guess he hasn't done it long enough, so I guess that's why he's at 8. But personally, I think he is better than like probably 3 of the guys that are ranked in front of him.
right now.
I think he like is like a better like quarterback. Or, like, has
He's a better
he
quarterback
has a higher
right now
ceiling.
than 3 of the quarterbacks listed ahead of him.
I like Trevor Lawrence a lot.
I also like Trevor Lawrence a lot, but
I
name
think
the 3 quarterbacks you think he's better.
I
than
would
right
take
now.
him over Lamar. I would take him over. I don't. Who was 6 and 7 again?
Hurts and Lamar.
Okay, I not 3 then. I guess I'll take him over. I would take him over Lamar for sure. Hurts is like that's kind of a tough one for me. And then the third one I would say would be Herbert. I think because I'm not taking him above Herbert, but I think that Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert are identical personally. I think Justin Herbert is like slightly better than him right now, but I think personally they are identical quarterbacks. They are both tall. They both have cannons. That's what both of them are known for. They both move fairly well. Like I think they're like identical. I think Justin Herbert's a little bit better, but I think they're like the same quarterback.
He's a better physical talent than Justin Herbert is.
That's just wrong. That's just not even true.
Flashback to
I don't know.
to
I'm
this
just
time
saying,
a
man.
year
Hey!
ago when Nick made that statement.
Listen,
About
I
Patrick
still
Mahomes.
stand by that.
No, I know.
There's no way.
I
no,
still.
it was when it's just when he phrases
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like the phrasing was odd.
I don't even think he's a better physical talent than Patrick Mahomes.
He's
He's taller. That's all he's got. So what?
I think he has more arm strength.
No, he doesn't. Mahomes is known for his arm strength.
So is Justin Herbert. And
Okay.
Josh Allen.
know.
Just because Mahomes has arm strength doesn't mean Herbert doesn't. I don't understand.
He
this.
does, but it's not better than Mahomes.
You can make an argument
No,
for
you
it.
can't.
But Mahomes is better at
Justin
literally everything
Herbert
else.
is taller. That is the only thing he has on Patrick Mahomes. And that does not even matter.
It definitely does. at the
Not
quarterback
like
position.
that much.
But it doesn't.
Mahomes is like 6'3".
We know what
It's
Mahomes
6'3",
does,
6'6". What the heck's the difference?
Well, when I made the video, I phrased it like he said that Herbert was.
Yeah, I
better
said that Herbert was better than Mahomes, which is not what I said at all.
Which is not what he meant, but
Yeah.
that was how we made it. We made him sound. But I'm
I
pretty sure.
didn't even say that at all.
I'm pretty sure that like that was last year when we did.
It was.
when we did this.
Yeah, it was.
That take, so
So, but yeah,
around this time.
I think in a year or two, Trevor Lawrence very well could be in the top 5.
He should be.
I'm a huge fan of him. I will currently take him over Lamar Jackson. I will not currently take him over Jalen Hurts, but I could be persuaded. And I will
So
also
you would put him at 7.
I will currently have him at 7. I will take him like 6 to 7 times out of 10 over Lamar Jackson.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think 8's a fine.
I think
spot.
8's a fine spot.
Yeah.
He just hasn't done it for as long as
We'll see if he
everyone
can
else.
do. If he can do it this year, when he's got Calvin Ridley back, they've been clicking really well in practice. I mean, he's got ETN would be healthy.
Yeah.
So and
They got a really good cast.
yeah. So I mean, the Jags are prepped to make a big playoff run. So
They can.
He has to be the leader of that. So
I have one thing that I would like to revisit though.
yes.
Don't you guys like at least somewhat agree that him and Herbert are like
They're
basically
similar.
the same
Yeah.
quarterback?
They're similar.
they're
I don't know about
similar.
basically the same. I think Herbert's got way more arm strength than Trevor Lawrence, but I think
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence is better in the pocket.
But Trevor Lawrence is like he's got like a really good he's got a
Trevor
good
Lawrence has
arm.
but Herbert
Like both of them have like cannon arms. They're both really tall guys. They both are fairly mobile quarterbacks. Like I see them as like nearly like the same quarterbacks. You know?
Swap arm strength for pocket presence, and I would agree. I think
They're very similar.
Herbert
Yeah.
has more arm strength. Trevor Lawrence is better in the pocket.
But
They're both mobile. They can throw on the run.
But they're like extremely similar. They're the same height even. They're like extremely
they're very
similar
similar.
quarterbacks.
They are very similar.
So that and Trevor Lawrence has already had more success than Justin Herbert's had. So that's why I think I make that argument.
he did beat him in the playoffs.
That's
Although
just
he
why.
also threw 4 picks in that game. So yeah.
That was just a weird.
And
Yeah, that was a weird game.
That was a great game. And he also went head to head with Mahomes, like dang down to the wire.
It was not as close as the game would indicate.
It was pretty close.
It was a 7-point game. The Chiefs
Was
were
that
up
when he
by
hurt his ankle?
yeah.
Yeah.
The Chiefs were up by multiple scores for a majority of it. It was not that close.
It was a solid game. He played him tough.
I think Trevor Lawrence. I think he'll be. He'll get up there.
I think the second half of last season was a preview and not a flash in the pan. I think we're going to see a lot more of it.
Yeah.
We should see a lot more of it.
We're not gonna, I don't think we're gonna see him like ever eclipse like Mahomes and Burrow. But like I think that he will
But he
get
can-
to
he
the
can
top 5 level.
Yeah. He can be a consistent top 5.
He's not going to get to Mahomes level, but you don't have to get to Mahomes level and be a really freaking good quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he'll get to Burrow's level.
We'll see. That's another discussion for another day.
I know you don't like Burrow.
It's not even. I said he's the second best quarterback in the league. What
But-
do you mean I don't like him?
Could you ever be persuaded to say Trevor Lawrence is better than Justin Herbert?
Yeah.
Like, could you
Yes.
ever, like, in
Yes.
your right mind, be persuaded to say
Absolutely.
Because I know you love Herbert.
No, I think Herbert's better right now. But if Lawrence has another year or two where he plays how he did second half of last year and gets more playoff wins, yeah, I could see a world.
Now, here's a better question for you.
I just don't think it's Herbert's fault that he hasn't had playoff success yet.
Here's a better question. Could you ever be persuaded to say Joe Burrow is better than, like better, like, all around than Herbert?
I already think he is. What
No,
are you on about?
Because you still make arguments for Herbert.
I
like,
say
being,
it's
like, right
close.
We're not getting in this.
Yeah, this is. I say that it's close. I think that you're kind of not seeing what I'm seeing in terms of the fact that they are like not super close. But if Herbert has a year where he throws for 5,200 yards, 50 touchdowns, and wins MVP, yeah, I'll probably have Herbert over Joe Burrow. And goes to like the conference championship game, I'll probably have Justin Herbert over Joe Burrow, and that could very well happen this year.
I don't think so. But Okay.
We'll see.
Shall see.
We'll talk about that when we get to the season,
predictions.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for that one. It's going to
Yeah.
be very
it's gonna come
good.
up soon.
Very good. Here in the next couple of weeks.
Sorry about that. We got a little off topic.
No, that's fine.
It was to be anticipated.
Yeah, always happens.
Well, I just think Lawrence and Herbert are very similar.
They are similar.
They are.
Yeah.
I
I'd say
get
that.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, we talked a lot more about quarterbacks in our quarterback tier ranking list. So go check that out if you really want to hear what we have to say about each quarterback as we go more in depth and talk for a lot longer. But we're moving on to the running backs here. This, in my opinion, is the most surprising list out of all of the ones that I saw.
And we'll rank these.
Yeah, because we already
Hasn't
ranked
yet,
quarterbacks.
yeah.
So yeah. All right. Number 1, Nick Chubb. Number 2, Christian McCaffrey. Number 3, Josh Jacobs. Number 4, Saquon Barkley. Number 5, Derrick Henry. Number 6, Jonathan Taylor. Number 7, Alvin Kamara. Number 8, Dalvin Cook. Number 9, Tony Pollard. Number 10, Austin Eckler.
Wow, that is a controversial list.
let me look
yeah,
at
I was gonna
this.
say I'm gonna have to
I'm gonna
see
have to
that
look at it
list.
It's very interesting.
All right.
That is
Nick Chubb at 1, I think that's my number 1. I have Nick Chubb at 1.
yeah,
I think he's just the best all-around back in the league.
yeah. I would probably agree with that.
You can make an argument for McCaffrey.
I don't think McCaffrey's as good of a pure runner as Chubb or some of the people below him.
I like Nick Chubb at 1.
Yeah.
That's not the
don't
part.
mind it.
That's not the part that I'm iffy on.
Yeah.
It's towards the bottom.
McCaffrey at 2.
Yes.
Yeah. Probably.
The dude,
Based on last
Based
season,
on, yeah.
the dude, he's not as good of a pure runner as some of these guys, but he's just an all-around weapon.
But if we're basing it off last season, we should have Josh Jacobs at 1. He led the league in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns.
But like we
meant
said for the
three.
quarterbacks,
Yeah.
it's not solely based on last season.
No, I know.
Yeah, well, we don't really know.
So I like Nick Chubb at 1. I like McCaffrey too.
Yeah.
I think McCaffrey is the best weapon in the NFL, all around weapon. He does everything.
when healthy, yeah.
Yeah.
He literally does everything.
I
he's
don't
healthy.
have an issue with McCaffrey at 2.
No.
Yeah. 3, Josh Jacobs.
I think
This is where it gets a little iffy for me personally.
I think you have to put Josh Jacobs here, based off the season he had last season.
But that's the only one. That's the only season though.
He was
Look,
the Raiders.
look who's below him at 4. Look what he's done throughout his
Saquon.
whole career.
Saquon.
Look who's at 5, and look what he. Yeah, no, this
Derrick
is where
Henry,
I'm iffy.
Derrick Henry did not have a great season,
But he had 6 great ones before that, consecutive.
but he's also the Titans' entire offensive focal point.
Okay.
And he's also approaching that dreaded age 30. So,
Yeah, he is, but I think we still have to respect him more than 5.
To be perfectly honest with you, I would probably have. I'm fine with Josh Jacobs at 3. I think you have to put Josh Jacobs no lower than 3, based off how he played last season.
Yeah, I guess you're looking off last year. I can see it.
But this isn't just last year.
I would have Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor over Saquon personally.
Yes.
Um,
I would. I don't disagree with that at all.
Derrick
So you would
Henry
have-
over Saquon.
So
I
you
think
would have
yeah.
Saquon at 6.
Yeah, I'd have
And then
Saquon.
He's
you
only
would-
had 2
and
good
then move
years.
Henry and Taylor up.
I don't think Saquon has done enough in the NFL yet. He's had 2 good seasons,
I mean, Jonathan Taylor's had 1.5 good seasons.
but he's also been in the league less time. Jonathan Taylor's only been in the NFL 3 years. Saquon's been in it 4, 5,
This
5
is-
even?
this is his-
6, I think even.
I think this is his
going to be year 6, I think.
6.
Yeah, and he's only played 2.
No, he's played more.
Look it up.
I'm looking up Saquon's stats right now.
He won Rookie of the Year his rookie year, and then he went MIA for 2 years, I'm pretty sure, and then he came back this year and finally.
He ran for 1,300 yards his rookie year. He ran for over 1,000 in his second season, and then he was out for 2 years with injury, and then ran for over 1,300.
Yeah, so every year.
So he's played.
So
yeah.
every year that he's been healthy, he's rushed for
Over 1,000
1,300
yards.
yards, pretty much.
I just personally don't think he's done it. I like.
I mean, I can see you putting Derrick Henry above him, but I personally wouldn't put Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor's.
I mean,
pretty
Jonathan
dang
Taylor's
good,
a heck of a running back.
Yeah,
I
that
mean-
might be a Colts bias coming
But
in.
I personally think Saquon has done more and is better.
But
Jonathan Taylor is obviously great. I mean, he had that season.
I mean,
2 years
Jonathan
ago.
Taylor back-to-back years.
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna look up his stats.
but
here in a
like
second,
he said,
but-
when Saquon's healthy, you're getting minimum 1,300 yard seasons from him. With is it
Also, what are you talking about? Josh Jacobs had one good year. He ran for 1,100 yards his rookie season, over 1,000 in 2020, and 1,600 yards last year.
Well, like
Seriously?
last year's when he went like
Nuclear.
Why did nobody care about him until last year? Then
I think he had some
injury.
injuries.
Yeah, injury issues.
That's right.
But every running back has.
see,
injury.
I don't know.
I think you have to put Josh Jacobs at 3 based off because this time last year we were debating who's the better running back, Jonathan Taylor or Derrick Henry,
Yeah.
because of the season Jonathan Taylor had.
Yeah.
Last
I mean,
or
yeah, Jonathan
2021.
Taylor had a good season.
I do think
But then he was
I do think
underwhelming this year.
I do think that I will retract my Barkley Taylor take,
Yeah.
but I will not retract my Henry Jacobs take.
I mean,
I see that.
I have
Because
JT over Saquon because I've seen him at his best.
Yeah.
And at his best, he ran for over 1,800 yards and 18 touchdowns.
Yeah, he had an
He-
unreal season.
For about a 2-3 week stretch, people were making claims he should be MVP.
Yeah,
Like, that's a real thing that was happening.
Yeah.
It's like him
2021.
and Cooper Kupp.
yeah.
And then the year before, he ran for over 1,100 yards and 11 touchdowns. So, like,
And then it was just injury last year.
so I think you could make the argument for Saquon over JT. I'm putting JT above him.
I see where you're coming from.
He was on pace for 1,500 yards last year before he was hurt.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like that's the whole narrative with running backs.
Yeah.
It's like
this is what he would have done until he
when,
got hurt.
yeah, when they're healthy, they're like studs. But then when they're
Well,
hurt,
yeah, there's like so many of them that were like, oh,
like,
dude,
like
if
I
they're
can look
healthy.
At,
like,
I can look at every single one of them except Nick Chubb and say like,
They've been hurt at some point.
yeah,
Which
but
is
when
why,
they're healthy,
yeah,
like,
which
oh,
is
man,
why
watch
I
out.
think more people need to respect Nick Chubb because he's so consistent.
Yeah.
At
and he's a
everything.
workhorse for the
Yeah.
Browns, and he never had any.
he's going to be
injury issues.
even more of a workhorse now because they don't have Kareem Hunt anymore.
Yeah, he's going to
So
get even
he's
more
gonna
touches.
get-
Yeah, that's
more
crazy.
touches.
Let me see this list because I'll go ahead and like look at what I got here because that was,
Going
in
a-
my opinion, that was a bad list.
Going a little off topic, if you turned on ESPN in the last week, a lot of the running backs aren't getting paid what they believe they should be getting paid, and it's caused a lot of debate among like the league and the media people and stuff. And I think they have like a group.
Austin
of, like-
Eckler would
Yeah, they
get
had a
lot of the
meeting.
top running backs together and have like a Zoom call about what they should do.
So just real quick, I was wondering what you guys thought about that whole situation. Like, do you think, like, if you're a general manager, like, do you think you pay like running backs like top dollar? Or I read one guy, he was like, if I'm a GM, like my blueprint for running backs is I draft.
I know,
Like I
yeah.
draft one, he plays. I think he said 3 or 4 years.
If he's good, extend him for that last year and then draft another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm just curious, like, what your guys'
think, like-
thoughts are on that whole situation because I feel like it's a pretty big headline right
Running
now.
backs is tough because of the way the game is now. It's not a run first game anymore. So I can't really justify paying someone like, you know, I don't know. I can't really justify paying anybody like even on this list like more money than I would pay Justin Jefferson. You know, it's
I
just
think-
I don't know.
That you have to look at it by case
You
like,
you
scenario.
do. You definitely do.
Because like a few years ago when Le'Veon Bell was holding out, he was not the Steelers' entire offense. They still had Big Ben, Antonio Brown, a pretty
Yeah.
good O-line.
Yeah.
They could be effective. Like you saw, was it James Conner that came in?
Yes.
He had a pretty good season
Which,
behind that
that's
O-line.
a lot of people say that he like ruined the running back market.
Yeah.
He had like he had a pretty good season behind that O-line, and I mean AB and Big Ben were still doing their thing. But in the case of the two main ones are Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley. Although Saquon did just get paid his 1 year. I think it was like
11.
He got
I
paid
think it
like
was 11.
$500K more than his franchise tag,
Yeah.
so it wasn't even that much money.
Yeah. But in the case of Saquon and Josh Jacobs, these two guys are their team's entire offense.
Yeah.
Their offense does not exist without them.
So if that's your case, then you pay him.
Yes.
So I agree with it case by case, but it's just tough because of the nature of the position and the nature of the game too.
Yeah.
Because like a running back in the NFL level is going to get the crap beat out of
Yeah,
them.
they have very
Like
short
they're,
career.
they're going to have a short career. They're going to start having injuries. I mean, like we just said, other than Nick Chubb, we can look at almost every guy on this list and say they had injuries.
Yeah.
Other than Chubb, Pollard, and Eckler, every guy on this list has had injuries.
Pollard's had an injury.
Yeah, Pollard had an injury.
Okay, so other than Chubb and Eckler.
And Eckler's not even a main runner.
Eckler's had an injury.
I think so, but not to the extent.
Eckler's more of a receiver, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so even still, other than Chubb and Eckler, every back in this top 10 list has had injury issues.
Is it like significant?
Significant that they have missed significant time with. So it's like it's just the nature of the position and the nature of the game that makes it tough to shell out $100 million for these guys.
Also, the NFL now is built around the quarterback.
Yeah.
So you have to pay guys who protect the quarterback, and you have to pay guys who are getting the ball thrown to them by the quarterback, and you have to pay the guys to rush the quarterback.
It's just the way the game is nowadays. Like I don't hate running backs by any means. I literally said in our Mount Rushmore podcast I would love to see a guy like Eric Dickerson play in today's league.
Yeah.
So I like running backs, and I like when teams use running backs. It's just tough to justify paying all that money. But it is a case-by-case thing.
It's always, like, Derrick Henry, I'm just going to throw this out there. Derrick Henry might be the last running back in a while to have a real shot at making the Hall of Fame, just because of how the game is progressing. And he's the last of a dying breed in terms of, like, hard-nosed, smash-mouth, give him the ball, move out of the way type of football.
He is, because now it's going towards McCaffrey and Eckler receiving backs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and it's crazy because, like, you think of running backs, you're like, oh, they're, like you said, like, Derrick Henry's hitting that 30 mark, like, his career is almost over. Like, and with other...
Historically speaking, running backs fall off.
Yeah, I mean...
Which is...
But history says that,
I don't know if I would...
then you look at, like, other positions, you're like, oh, like, they're just, like, they're still in their prime, or, like, they're just going out of their prime, you know? So it's kind of interesting.
It's just because of how bad they get beat up, you know?
They peak earlier.
And I think another thing that's really interesting is if you look at, like, the last 5 or 6 running backs on Super Bowl winning teams, none of them are these top guys. Like, like you look last year, Isaiah Pacheco, you had Cam Akers the year before. I mean, the Eagles had like Kenneth Gainwell. Like the Chiefs don't really haven't had great running backs. So it's just interesting when you look at like these guys who are the focal points of their teams, like the Raiders, the Giants, the Titans, like all of those teams. I mean, it's not because they're running their offense through running backs, but all of those teams genuinely right now aren't like great teams.
They aren't the top.
The best teams are the teams that have a great quarterback and wide receiver duo, not like a great running back. So I feel like it's really, like, as a general manager, it's hard to really, like, it's tempting to just throw a running back away after 4 years and draft another one. I mean, you saw this year with Dameon Pierce, who went in the 4th, 5th round, and he's immediately came in starting running back for the Texans, and he's probably going to be their starter for a while. And then you got guys like Breece Hall, who was first-round pick, tore his ACL in his first season. So, like, it's just the running backs, like, they're all just so, like you said, it's like case-by-case basis. So, I feel like as a general manager, like, you obviously you got to pay your best players. Saquon's your best player, Josh Jacobs,
which is why I like the case-to-case thing.
Yeah, so you got to pay your best players, but I feel like it's a big risk too, you know, because you look at like Christian McCaffrey, who he's, like we said, great when he's healthy, but you pay him
$150 million over 5 years, and then he gets hurt. Yeah, you got an albatross.
That's not a good. That's not a good contract.
And you even look at his trade market, like when you traded him, like when he got traded to the 49ers. I mean, he's number 2 back on this list. People say he's number 1. He got traded for like a 5th round pick.
It was more than that.
It was more than that.
It was like a first.
It wasn't like a back-breaking trade, though.
First, didn't it?
I think they did.
I thought it was like a 3rd.
Look it up.
But it wasn't like a absolutely ridiculous package.
No,
like
people
your
were
point.
Yeah, like it wasn't what you would think of a guy top 2 in his position.
Yeah,
like, but that's just how the running back market kind of is.
I will say though, to go back a little bit and make a comment on Nick's take of Derrick Henry being the last of like a smash mouth back. I think Nick Chubb is a smash mouth back, and he's younger than Henry, so it's kind of.
Nick Chubb is not the focal point of the Browns' offense.
He was until they got Deshaun Watson.
Yes,
and I think he should still.
But they also had Kareem Hunt. I think they should be too. I think the Browns should be a run-first team.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, they had Kareem Hunt, but I think Nick Chubb is still.
Like with the Titans, with Ryan Tannehill under center, I mean, there's not much there anymore.
Yeah. But, like, Nick Chubb is still, like Derrick Henry, in my opinion, a smash-mouth back like that.
Say what you want about, like, Deshaun Watson. Teams have to account for his ability more because of what he's done in the past than they have to with Ryan Tannehill.
But I think the Browns should still run their
I
offense.
think they should
through
too.
Chubb.
Yeah,
They-
have
they-
a
He's
great
the best player
O-line.
on the team.
They ran it through Chubb when they went to the They ran it through Chubb when they went to the playoffs, and they ran it through Chubb the year after they went to the playoffs, and they weren't terrible.
Yeah.
And then they ran it through Chubb for half the year this year. They were doing they were floating.
Yeah,
And then Deshaun Watson comes back, and they run it through him, and they're terrible.
yeah. They need to be a
Like-
run-first team for sure.
Like, Deshaun Watson's not the guy that he used to be. Nick Chubb is still that guy. He's the best player on the team, other than Myles Garrett.
The McCaffrey package wasn't a first, but it was still like pretty decent. It was a 2023 second, third, fourth, and a fifth rounder next year.
Okay.
So it's
It's still a decent
it's a lot of
package.
picks, but it's not like a first.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
it's not. Yeah.
should we like? Do you want? Should we go through and rank?
Yeah,
our
go
I mean, we
rankings?
haven't even talked about the bottom part of the list yet.
Well, I need to. I was gonna like rank mine. So I would. The
bottom
way I would have it.
4 is Kamara, Cook, Pollard, and Eckler. And
Why is
they're-
Kamara here based off the season that he had?
Based off of like the last two, did he even play
He didn't even.
2 years ago? I don't even know.
I think so, but I don't think.
It didn't do anything.
I would put Aaron Jones over him.
I would put Aaron, but like Alvin Kamara, like, oh, that's just another one.
When healthy.
Well,
his-
with him, it's not as much health; it's off the field issues too. But anyways,
when he's on the field.
Alvin
Yeah.
Kamara's never ran for over 1,000 yards in his career.
Yeah.
it's just because Alvin Kamara is like one of the best dual threat backs
Yeah.
because he's a heck of a runner, but he's also like he's a better runner than Eckler. Yes,
Yeah.
Alvin Kamara is a
but,
better
I mean,
runner than Eckler.
Neither one of them are good, so I don't think we need to have that argument in terms of running the football.
I would put
I
would put Aaron Jones.
I don't know if I'd say that. I think both of them are pretty solid at running the ball.
I'd put Aaron Jones in Kamara's spot.
But anyways, though, I will do. So this would probably be my order. I would do Nick Chubb, Christian McCaffrey. I would do Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Saquon, Jonathan Taylor. I'd have Austin Eckler at 7. I'd probably do Dalvin Cook, Pollard, and I do like either Aaron Jones or I like Pierce, but
He's not a top 10 running back. He's not even the best running back in his class.
I mean,
Brees Hall's better. Brees Hall was better than Dameon Pierce when he played.
it's just the ACL. I'll put Aaron Jones at 10. That would be my top 10 list probably. So I'm knocking Kamara out of the 10. I think you can put him at 11, but I'd bump Eckler up to 7. I think Austin Eckler is really good.
yeah.
Austin Eckler has never ran. Austin Eckler's actually ran for less than Alvin Kamara has throughout his career.
I like Eckler a lot.
Eckler's just really good. He's a receiving threat, and they give it to him a lot in the red zone.
Like I think Eckler is just another one of those guys who is just a really good weapon. And
He
I
is.
think the reason, I literally just said this like 2 minutes ago, but the reason personally that I'm putting Eckler over Kamara is just the fact that Kamara hasn't really played in like 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's like significant, and it's not all because of injury.
I mean,
either.
he ran for more than Eckler did last year. I think it's either that or it's pretty close.
But how long did he play for last year? Because he missed significant time last year too, didn't he?
Was it because of injury or suspension?
I don't know.
I thought it was. He's had like suspension, off the field issues,
no.
and injuries.
Eckler ran for like 18 more yards, but he also had like 10 more touchdowns than Kamara did last year.
Yeah, I don't think
Eckler
Kamara
gets all of his touches at the goal line.
Yeah.
That's why he has a high touchdown.
I don't.
That's why people in fantasy like him a lot.
I don't think Kamara has been all that for the past 2 years though.
No, he hasn't.
2 years ago, I'm putting him in my top 5.
Yeah, for sure.
But
yeah,
I just don't think because I know for the past 2 years it's been injuries and suspensions.
Yeah.
So I just don't think he's done enough the past 2 years to warrant top 5 or I don't even top 10
not
with the
even
rest of those
close.
guys.
I'm looking at this list. My top 10 would be Nick Chubb, Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley. I'd probably put Dalvin Cook at 7, Aaron Jones at 8, Austin Eckler at 9, and Tony Pollard at 10. I think that would be my 10.
I like Tony Pollard. Actually, hold up.
Tony Pollard's had one good season.
I'm gonna put Jones over Pollard.
I think the Aaron Jones disrespect is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm flipping those two. Aaron Jones is 9.
I think
Pollard's
Aaron
10.
Jones is a really good running back.
Yeah, Tony Pollard ran for over 1,000 yards last season while also being in a two-man back.
But
Tony Pollard was definitely had.
But
a
yeah,
great season.
I'm flipping Aaron Jones though. I think Pollard is still 10 just because he hasn't done it enough.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones has been a very good back
the
for a
starting
while.
back.
Aaron Jones has ran for over 1,000 yards 3 of the last 4 years, although he only ran for 2 touchdowns last year, so I don't know what.
He's still been a really
They
good
didn't
back.
give
For
it
the Packers just had an off year last year.
He also is a good receiving threat. Too.
Yeah, he
I
is.
mean, not to the extent of like Eckler,
Kamara and Eckler.
Yeah.
but he still can do it. My list would be Chubb at 1, McCaffrey at 2, Jacobs at 3. I'd probably put Derrick Henry at 4, Saquon at 5, Jonathan Taylor at 6, Dalvin Cook at 7, Aaron Jones at 9. Wait, did I say 8 or 9?
You said
skipped
9. You
8.
skipped 8.
Oh, sorry. Aaron Jones at 8, and then I would put Eckler at 9 and Pollard at 10.
So yeah, I mean, Dalvin Cook's ran for over 1,000 yards the past 4 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's not on a team
He's not
right
on a
now,
team
but
right now, but he's
he's
still
one
really
of the
good.
best backs in the league.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
I don't know how he's
I
still
don't know
not
how
on a
he's
team.
not on a team
Yeah.
right now. I saw he might go to the Bills.
That would not be good for.
You know,
people.
I read an article today at work. It was this absurd article. So I go into my it is sports related.
Okay.
I go into my Edge because we use Edge. So I go into Edge and it has like all these. It has the news page, you
Yeah.
know.
I like
And-
looking at those.
And I see this Bengals article, and I'm sorry it's about the Bengals, but it's just it was ridiculous. So I read it. It's like three.
not win a game.
No. It was like 3 things the Bengals need to do in this offseason to win the Super Bowl is what it was. And it was like,
Trade Joe Burrow.
no. it was absurd though. Not quite to that level, but it was absurd. I can't remember what one of them was, but one was sign Chase Young, which I didn't hate, but like he was saying that we need to do all 3 of these things to win the Super Bowl. And it was sign Chase Young, sign Dalvin Cook, and then it was like trade for Jerry Jeudy. Trade for Jerry Jeudy, sign Chase Young, and sign Dalvin Cook. And I'm like, I'm
money for that.
I'm thinking, where in the one, where are we getting this money? 2, why on earth do we need to trade assets for Jerry Jeudy?
the only one. That's the only one that I would be like,
Why?
yeah.
The Bengals, arguably their biggest strength is their receiving core.
It is their biggest.
yeah.
They have
only-
the best receiving core in the
The
league.
only thing I would think is if we know Tyler Boyd's not coming back, and we just want to get value.
But
off
they
of him,
signed
Then,
I guess you
then
don't
we
get
trade
value
him
for
for a younger option who basically is the same receiver. So
But
You can make a case he's arguably a little bit better than Tyler Boyd.
they drafted
Yeah.
they drafted what's his
Jones.
face to replace Tyler Boyd.
yeah, I know. But that's the only thing I can think of is why we would trade for Jerry Jeudy.
But like signing Chase Young, that would be great.
I don't hate that.
I don't hate that
Would
because
we
he's-
sign him or trade for him?
you would
Is he
have
a
to
free agent?
you'd have to
They didn't extend his option, so you'd have to trade for him.
yeah. So it was a trade for him, which I don't want
not
to.
giving
I'm like,
assets for
why would you trade for Chase Young? Like I just
Our edge.
Yeah, would you give? They could be. Would you trade a 3rd rounder for Chase Young right now?
third? Probably.
maybe a 3rd. Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe a 3rd.
We don't need edge rushers.
That's why I was
pass
like,
rush is
why?
terrible.
The only one of those 3 things that I was like, okay, I wouldn't like
We
that.
just
Would,
drafted an edge rusher.
the only thing out of those 3 things that this dude said that I was like, okay, that would be kind of cool is Dalvin Cook, because then you would run a backfield of Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, and Chase Brown.
Not even.
So you're just gonna get rid of Joe Mixon like that? You don't need to sign Dalvin Cook.
No.
I
That's
know,
the
but
thing.
well, you don't need any of those 3 things.
I think they could use another guy on the edge.
Yeah, a
If
pass
they're,
rusher.
I mean, yeah, they just drafted an edge rusher,
I'm
so
not-
I don't think they should do that.
I'm not
but-
giving up assets
Yeah.
for.
If I could get him for like a 4th, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Yeah,
I'm not paying.
It would be one of those things.
Not paying him.
It would be more so one of those things like, I mean, if I can get him for barely no value, why the heck not?
Yeah, he'd be a one.
You
He'd be a
know.
1-year rental, and then he'd walk.
Yeah, I would rent him for no value, and then I'd let him go.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I just thought that was absurd. That was a side
What
note
if you
there.
trade for Chase Young and then he becomes your best defensive player? Then what happens?
Okay, then that's great. We gave up no value for him,
then-
and we extend him.
Then we have talks. But if,
Then we have talks.
but if it's been the Chase Young since he's been in the NFL, he's been very underwhelming and
He
injured.
had a really good.
He had a
rookie
really good
season, and then
rookie
he's been
year.
injury prone.
He's been injured.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you sign him and he takes over the league, then it's like, all right, we got you for 0 value.
Yeah.
I'll pay you now.
Still not getting a lot of money. Because we have to re-sign Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, and T. Higgins, which will not
Probably
be cheap.
Higgins, yeah.
Definitely T.
That's gonna be almost your entire.
Yeah, that's gonna be that's gonna be a majority of our cap. So
We'll see.
I'm
see.
very cautious.
We'll
of
see what we can work out
giving
here.
players big
I'm
contracts.
quite thrilled to be bringing in back to running backs. Though I'm quite thrilled for Chase Brown. I saw a hot take that this dude said. Some analyst said that Chase Brown will take over as the starting back, like at some point this year for the
I can
Bengals.
see it.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Either, but I can see it.
But maybe
he'll
like
be a really
after
good
next,
backup.
next year.
Yeah, he'll be
Not
a
this year, next year.
Yeah, no, that'll be.
Anyways, though,
Anything else we want to say about running backs?
why?
Please stay healthy this season. We're gonna need you.
Why do you guys not really like Eckler much?
He's not a good runner. The number one thing you have to do as a running back is run the football well.
I think Eckler's a fine runner.
I don't think he's better.
He's not better than any other people we
any
listen
of the
above him.
9 or 8
Yeah.
that I mentioned.
He's not better than Cook. I'll give you that.
He's not better than Aaron Jones either.
Nope. Obviously, he's not better than Taylor, Henry, Barkley, Jacobs, McCaffrey, or Chubb.
He's not a better runner than Chubb, McCaffrey, Jacobs, Barkley, Henry, Taylor,
Dalvin
or Cook.
And
Sure,
Aaron
how many
Jones.
is that? 7?
and Aaron Jones.
There's
8?
8. We have him at 9.
we have
So
We moved them. We have him higher than this list.
yeah.
I had him at 10 over
I-
Tony Pollard. Who's
What
a-
did I can't even remember.
Under Tony
I
Pollard.
can't even remember where I had him, but I don't know. I think Austin Eckler's pretty good.
He's good.
I think he's another one of those guys like McCaffrey, where I think he's just a really good weapon to have.
Benefits a lot from the system he was playing in. Keyword was. We'll talk about that in the season predictions. But yeah, we're gonna see how he is this year.
Okay, next.
Receivers.
Receivers.
This is the fun one,
Yeah,
baby.
This is the fun one.
All right. Number 1, Justin Jefferson. Number 2, Devontae Adams. Number 3, Jamar Chase. Number 4, Tyreek Hill. Number 5, Cooper Kupp. Number 6, Stephon Diggs. Number 7, A.J. Brown. Number 8, DK Metcalf. Number 9, Terry McLaurin. And number 10, C.D. Lamb.
The bottom's bad.
Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns?
Questions, comments, concerns.
You all go first.
Okay, first of all, my top 5.
I was going to say, before you start, what do you think of Chase? Do you have Chase behind Adams?
Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I was just curious.
Currently, yes.
Yeah.
He has I think he has a higher ceiling.
Obviously.
But like
So what you were saying.
what I was gonna say though was my top 5 is like exactly that in that exact order. That is like my top.
I would
5.
agree.
The only one I'm iffy on is Diggs and Cup. Maybe flipping those two.
Yeah.
I would probably flip those two. I would probably put Diggs at 5 and Cup at 6. But
Going off
I
last
don't
year.
hate either way. I'm perfectly fine with that either way. I think from 7 down is where it gets iffy for me.
I think from 8 down.
Who was 7? I need to see.
AJ Brown.
Okay, from 8 down it's iffy because AJ Brown is definitely.
Yeah, I don't
seven.
think DK. I don't think DK and Terry are.
DK Metcalf is not number 8 in the NFL. I'm sorry, he's
Really?
not. No,
Yeah, I think you can make a case for it.
no, he's not.
He's definitely not a
Their
Russell Wilson version.
their honorable mentions are Debo, Mike Evans, T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle, and Devontae Smith.
Can I see the? Let me see the list here.
Those are honorable mentions.
DK Metcalf is not 8 for
DK
me.
had over 1,000 yards last year,
He's not 8.
and he had the most catches of his career.
Would you
90
put CD
receptions.
over him?
Probably.
Yes.
But I mean, I think you can make. a case
What's
for
wrong with
DK.
Terry McLaurin though? I think
Terry
I
McLaurin-
like Terry McLaurin.
I think Terry
I-
McLaurin is the most. I think he is the most underrated receiver in the league.
He's just always what's he on the Commanders?
He is a quarterback-proof, consistent receiver. Like Terry McLaurin is really good.
I think for me, I think Terry McLaurin at 9 is fine. Actually, I don't know. So what I would do, I would raise
10 or 11
CD.
maybe.
I would raise CD up to 8. I DK Metcalf at 9. I don't hate. I would put Amon-Ra St. Brown at 10. I think.
I don't know if he's that.
I think
He
him-
only had one good year, I think.
He's
He's also only been in the league for 2.
yeah. When both
That's-
those years he's had
that's
1,000-yard
true,
receiving
I guess.
seasons, and he's has like 70 receptions.
That is actually true.
He's kind of like Terry McLaurin, where he's quarterback proof,
Yeah,
and he's
that is
always
true.
just consistent.
That is true. I guess I didn't think about the fact he's only been in the league 2
Yeah,
years.
he's very consistent.
I would probably.
I mean, I think Terry McLaurin's at 10 or 11.
I think you could do CD Lamb at 8. I think the 7. I think the top 7 is fine. I don't
Yeah,
think that
I
really needs to be
agree.
touched. Like I said, unless you want to flip Diggs and Cup, it's a personal preference. I probably would, but For me personally, I would bump DK out of my top 10 because I think that CeeDee Lamb is 8.
Yeah.
And I actually like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I didn't even think about him. I think you absolutely could put Amon-Ra at like 10.
I think that would be the highest.
However, I will say though, and okay, yeah, I like the Bengals, whatever, but seriously, like remove
No.
I don't even think you would disagree with me here. If we're putting Amon-Ra in the top 10, I think T. Higgins should be above him.
I disagree. I think Amon-Ra's better.
Okay, so you do disagree. Why? T. Higgins has been a 1,000-yard receiver all 3 years he's been in the league. He'd be a wide receiver 1 on every other team, almost.
Amon-Ra's been almost 1,000 yards in every year he's been in the league too.
T. Higgins has been 1,000
No, he
yards.
hasn't. 908 his rookie year.
Okay, yeah, whatever.
Amon-Ra had more receptions and touchdowns and yards in his rookie year.
I think T. Higgins is better.
Also, T. Higgins benefits a lot from the fact that he's got Jamar Chase on the other side.
T. Higgins would be a wide receiver 1 on 30 NFL teams.
I don't know about 30. He'd be a wide receiver 1 on a lot of NFL teams. He's really freaking good.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's better than Amon-Ra.
I could.
That is
Maybe.
that's
make an
another.
argument for him in the top
That's
10.
another personal preference. I think. I think he's better than Amon-Ra. What do you think?
I don't know. That's
What do you want him to do? Like compared to Amon-Ra, like what does he have to do?
I don't. I'm just thinking.
Not compared to this. Like, this is I don't know. This is a different discussion. I just thought about that.
Amon-Ra, like he's more of a. He's not just like a throw it downfield, gonna catch it over your head type guy. He's more of a.
Well, that's not necessarily what T. Higgins does either. I mean,
That's what T. Higgins is best at.
well, he's a jump ball because he's tall. I mean, yeah, but
He's a 50-50 guy.
yeah.
Amon-Ra. Well, also, I mean, you have to consider. I mean, like Nick said, situation. Amon-Ra's getting 60, 70 receptions a season, and over 1,000 yards. But that's just because he's their only good receiver on the Lions.
Exactly.
And then I do think T. Higgins Jamar Chase does help him, but we have seen T. Higgins without Jamar Chase, and he did very well.
He excelled even more.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I would. I can see you putting him in the top 10, and I don't hate it. But
I don't think I'm
if
going.
he's not 10, I would put him at like 11 or 12.
I don't know if I'm putting him in the top 10 at this current day and time, but I do think that.
I think he can be close.
I do think that should be brought up because if we're gonna put Amon-Ra in the top 10, like personally, why is T. Higgins not?
Yeah.
You know. So I honestly, I don't even know if I'd put Amon-Ra in the top 10 then if that case. I know I'm bumping Metcalf out. CeeDee Lamb is 8 for me. I don't mind Terry McLaurin at 9, but I could also do 10. And like I said, the only receivers that I could think of that are top 10 material off the top of the head right now would be Higgins, St. Brown, or I could do Deebo Samuel or Mike Evans. So I think with CD at 8, and I just for the sake of the discussion, we'll keep Terry at 9. I think at 10, I would have to put. I think Deebo Samuel might deserve that spot. I know he wasn't spectacular last season, but Mike Evans is. I like Mike Evans, but I just don't. He's like so like touchdown like reliant, you know. Like I don't know if he really is like.
I mean, he always gets 1,000 yards a season.
I know, and
He doesn't do it very like flashy.
yeah. So I mean, I guess you. Well, I mean, I guess I could put Mike Evans at 10 because I think pure receiver wise, Mike Evans is better than Deebo Samuel.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
So I think I could feel fairly comfortable having Mike Evans at 10. I'll put Mike Evans.
He's
at
very consistent.
Where would you put Jalen Waddle? Do you think he has?
I'm going to go on my tangent when you all are done.
10. Okay, so for me, then Jalen Waddle for me would be below Higgins and St. Brown, I think, and probably Samuel. So I'd probably almost have Waddle at like 13 or 14, whatever that would be. I don't give a crap about the stats though. Completely, it's not all about stats.
My list would be
Jalen Waddle's better than T. Higgins.
No, he's not.
He had 1,300 yards last season.
It's not all about the stats.
He blew
It's not all about the
Higgins
stats.
out of the water.
It's not all about the stats, Nick. We're talking who is the better football player. It's not all about the stats.
I think Jalen Waddle is.
Okay,
right now.
that's your personal preference then.
All right. For me, my top three is so hard. I think you can make an argument for three different guys to be the number one receiver in the league right now. I would put Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, and Tyreek Hill
Oh, for God's
in
sake.
that category.
That's terrible, Nick.
Why? Why is it terrible? Go for it right now.
In what world is Tyreek Hill a better pure receiver than Jamar Chase?
This world. He had 1,700 yards last season.
It's not the stats! It's not about the stats, Nick!
There is not a player.
I'm tired of hearing these statistical things. It's not all about stats.
He's a better receiver
Let's fix your mic
currently
again.
No,
than
he's
Jamar
not!
Chase.
No,
yes, he
He's
is.
just not. He's just not. Evan, what do you think?
Is Tyreek Hill better than Jamar Chase?
Yes.
Right now. Right now.
He's not. He's just not.
No, but he's right.
I would.
He's
I
close. He's close, but
completely
he's
with
just
that.
not.
I mean, Tyreek Hill is an absolute monster.
He is, but he's not a better receiver than
There's
Jamar
not a
Chase.
single receiver on the planet, including Justin Jefferson and Devontae Adams, that puts more pressure on defenses than Tyreek Hill.
Because he's fast.
Yeah.
He's a speed demon.
Yes.
He's a deep threat. He's not a better pure receiver than Jamar Chase.
I mean, you have to.
He's just not. He's just not.
1,700 yards would say otherwise.
Once again, it's not all about the numbers, man. Yeah, he has 1,700 yards because they just chuck it deep to him all the
He
time.
had 100
'Cause he just outruns everybody.
catches. What are you talking about?
He's not better than Jamar. He's not a better pure receiver than Jamar Chase. It's not all about the stats. There's more to being a good football player than having good statistics.
He had 120 catches and 1,700 yards. By the way, I have Devontae Adams at number one instead of Justin Jefferson.
That's more respectable than that.
It's really freaking close.
You got a weird list, man. You got a goofy list here. But I will say Adams over Jefferson, in my opinion, is more respectable than Tyreek Hill over Chase.
It's not even a.
It absolutely ask pretty much anybody, and no, seriously, you can ask almost any non-Bengals fan, and they're still going to tell you Chase is 3.
Don't agree with that.
He just is.
I'm not saying Jamar Chase is bad. Jamar Chase is really freaking good.
That is am I wrong in saying, Evan, that is the consensus number 3? The consensus top 3 in this order is Jefferson, Adams, and Chase. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, I think a lot of people think that, but I do get where you're coming from, Nick. I mean, Tyreek Hill is an absolute.
He's a monster. He absolutely is.
119 catches, 1,700 yards on 14 yards a catch and 7 touchdowns, with Tua throwing him the ball.
Yeah,
it was worse than Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
by the way.
Tyreek Hill's a stud. I'm not denying that at all. But Jamar Chase is the better receiver.
Tyreek Hill had
40 more catches, more yards per catch, and 2 less touchdowns on 700 more yards. Although Jamar Chase missed 4 games, but still.
Jamar Chase is the better receiver, and I won't be convinced otherwise on this. And that's not.
Okay,
And that's
I just disagree with
that's
you. That's
not because I'm a Bengals fan either. That's
Right
just
now.
not.
Jamar Chase will be better in probably a year or two.
This has always been my Tyreek Hill take. Tyreek Hill is a monster, but I don't know if he's a spectacular pure receiver as he is just a speed
fast,
demon.
he would be good.
If he was no, seriously, he is just an absolute burner. Just because he's but a pure receiver though.
You cannot put man coverage on him.
He's still top 5, but I'm not putting him above Jefferson, Adams, or Chase as a receiver. He is a burner, and I will give you that. But I think that is egregiously wrong.
If it's not all about the stats, then what is it about? That's my question for you.
I don't know exactly, but ask any coach or any football minded. It's not all about the stats.
Yeah,
don't
you're
tell
right.
the
It's
story.
not all about the stats, but the stats in this case are not close at all.
300 yards and 2 less touchdowns.
700 yards and 2 less touchdowns.
Okay, he still
And 40 more receptions too.
and he still also missed he played
Yeah, Jamar
five
Chase-
more games?
All right.
Like 4.5,
I'll
5 more
compare
games? Like,
Tyreek's season last year to Jamar Chase's season. He had,
I'm just saying, like, if you, like, ask, like literally ask any football coach. It's not all about the stats.
38 more catches, 300-ish more yards, and Jamar Chase had 6 more touchdowns. So that, yeah. But right now, I would have Tyreek Hill over Jamar Chase. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna
but-
show you something.
Okay.
I actually don't hate that.
Yeah. I have Jamar Chase at 4.
Evan, what on earth?
By the way.
I mean,
I think you could make an argument for Chase over Tyreek Hill. I just disagree with it.
Tyreek Hill, at one point, like a year ago or 2 years ago, was a year ago was the second best wide receiver in the league, behind Devontae Adams. Before Justin Jefferson came in, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Maybe except for,
1,700 yards. And the big thing for me is 120 catches. That's a lot of receptions.
This is Bill Belichick.
Okay.
Six time Super Bowl champion, one of the greatest coaches to ever coach the game of football.
Okay. Let me watch this.
You know how I feel about stats. Really, stats are for losers. Final scores for winners. And that's really what it's about.
There's more.
Okay.
There's more.
Okay, I
to-
disagree with Bill Belichick. I don't know why you thought showing me that video
There
was
is.
going to make me change my mind.
I'm just
You're
there.
right.
There is.
Yeah, I'm a loser, apparently.
There is more to being a good football player than their statistical
Well,
numbers.
obviously, but like...
So I don't think that we can say Tyreek Hill is better receiver than Jamar Chase just because he has more yards and less touchdowns.
Well, it's obviously not about that. But another big thing is he is the Steph Curry of the NFL.
Tyreek Hill?
There is not a single person that puts more pressure on defenses than Tyreek Hill.
I would say Patrick Mahomes is the Steph Curry of the NFL.
Well, the whole offense runs through Patrick Mahomes, so it's a little bit different. But I mean, there's not a single skill position player that puts more pressure on opposing defenses than Tyreek Hill. It's not even a contest. You cannot put man coverage on him, period. I mean, it's probably not a good idea to put man coverage on Jamar Chase, too, but if you have like...
Watch the Chiefs game 2 years
if
ago.
you have like Jair Alexander or something, it would be a good matchup. You cannot put...
If you
one-on-one
put
coverage on Tyreek
Jair
Hill.
Alexander on Tyreek Hill, it'd be a good matchup. Don't kid yourself.
I think Tyreek Hill wins fairly comfortably because of his speed.
So do you think he's just like a god receiver because he's faster than
He's a
everybody
god.
else?
His speed is godlike.
Like-
he's the fastest NFL player we've ever seen.
Like,
He could have, if he ran in the Olympics, he would have finished 6th. He would have beat Olympic sprinters.
I can't believe
in a
that.
100-yard dash.
I can't believe I'm arguing against. I love Tyreek Hill. He's a great receiver. I can't I can't believe I'm arguing against him right now.
Also, he had a worse quarterback throwing him the football.
Like I just don't think he's a better receiver than any of those 3 guys.
I'm
He's faster.
yeah. That's like-
Okay, that's the story there. He's
Yeah.
like, what else is he better at besides speed than those 3 guys?
Well, I have him at 3. So I'm not going to argue with Justin Jefferson. Or
Argue with.
Devontae Adams.
I want you to argue with all 3 of those guys. What does Tyreek Hill do in your opinion that is better than those 3 besides he's just faster?
Besides speed, I don't think there's much. But just because he's not better than any of those doesn't mean he's bad at those things.
I'm not saying he's bad at those things at all. I have
just-
Tyreek Hill at 4.
I think
I'm not saying he's bad at any of those things,
have
but
him flipped.
Yeah.
right?
but like how like I'm just. Like,
I don't
he-
understand why this is such a big deal to you. You
Well, no,
have
I'm
him
just-
one place below me.
I'm just saying that like
Look at Mac Jones.
I don't understand.
All I'm saying is that if you can't tell me one thing that Tyreek Hill definitely does better than those 3 guys, besides just the fact that he's just faster, I'm not putting him
Jamar
above them.
Chase is a better 50-50 receiver, obviously.
Uh-huh.
I don't think Tyreek Hill's fairly good at like 50-50 pulls.
No.
Just,
'Cause- no.
He's a lot shorter.
yeah.
Yes.
So he can. Route running.
He's not better
Yeah,
than a route runner.
Tyreek's not a bad route
No,
runner.
but he's not-
He's not better than Jamar Chase.
Uh-huh.
Hands.
I mean, it's a subjective thing.
Uh,
I think with hands, you kind of got to be put in positions to let your hands do the work.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill does not drop footballs when they're thrown to him, so I don't really think we need to have that argument. And other than that, what other like traits of receiver are there?
I mean, you got
Heavyweight speed.
You got route. I mean, you got route running. I think like smooth. I think like you need to be smooth in your movements.
I would say Tyreek Hill is up there with Jamar Chase. I'd say they're about the same, if not Tyreek being better.
I don't know.
Off his cuts, Tyreek is a demon.
Because he's fast.
Yeah,
He just accelerates. I mean, but I think there's.
he just.
I don't know, Evan. We both played receiver. What all goes into a receiver? You got smoothness. You got route. Like I think you need to be smooth in your movements.
So
I think you got route running. You got like
Speed.
like speed. Like how.
So to be a good receiver,
I think how you catch the ball. I think that makes a difference too.
yeah, to be a good receiver,
Timing on when you.
yeah,
Timing on when you put your hands out to catch the ball.
yeah. I'd say getting out of
getting out of
getting
breaks,
out of the break.
Which Tyreek is
which is
better.
acceleration.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyreek's the best at that.
So I mean, you got. I think you have release. You have route running.
Right now, I would rather have Tyreek Hill on my team than Jamar Chase.
I
Keyword right now. I think Jamar Chase is going to be a better receiver in a year or two.
yeah.
But like,
I egregiously disagree with that, but I mean, to each his own. Whatever.